Okay. Oh, good. It's clear. So I have to be careful what I say. No whispering. So. Your brother? Or it's good? Okay, inshallah. Before I start, Assalamu alaikum, ahlan wa sahlan, assalamu alaikum, كيفك تعال Assalamu alaikum. Nice to see you. How are you, Lori? Assalamu alaikum. Another one. حبيبتي. Iman, حبيبتي, how are you? How are you, Anan? How are you, Sarah? How are you? So nice to see you. Who's this cutie patootie? كيف حالك? I'll get another Sarah, alhamdulillah. I can get as many as I can get in. Assalamu alaikum. Before I just want to say salam before, make sure the coffee's right. Can't start till the coffee's right. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum, Yasmin. I'm going to head off. All right. Testing. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Hassan. Brother Hassan. Rashida. This is my brother. Yeah, inshallah. Okay. One more minute, or are we good to start? Or oh, of course. Do you want this, brother? Oh, okay.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome once again to our parent-to-be session. اللهم اجعل اجتماعنا هذا اجتماعا مرحوما واجعل تفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما ولا تجعل بيننا شقيا ولا محروما. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us beneficial knowledge and to make this gathering a gathering free of sin and inshallah a good beginning for us to prepare for Ramadan inshallah. I just wanted to go ahead and thank our parents for being great supporters of this program and also for giving us a good image, alhamdulillah, for us to receive accreditation by three great organizations. Thank you for our leadership team, alhamdulillah, our teachers, parents, and students. So that's a great accomplishment, alhamdulillah. So without further ado, this Ezdehar always comes before Ramadan to get us all psyched up and ready, inshallah, because this is an opportunity we don't want to miss out on. So without further ado, inshallah, sister, thank you for all the good stuff that you bring. Alhamdulillah.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Mamdouh. Right, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. I would like to start off by welcoming all of you. Again, as Brother Mamdouh said, thank you all for taking time on your Friday morning to come to join the Tarbiyah session. I pray that it is beneficial. I hope that we all leave here. I have a few intentions. Some of them are that we all leave here more excited for Ramadan than we came and ready with some tools in our toolbox to take advantage of Ramadan to the utmost, inshallah. Sister Sadeh, is there a light missing? Are they all on? Or is it just, maybe I'm just, so my goal in this, another goal that I have, inshallah, I'm going to try to split this into two. How much?
You have all the time.
I was going to say, because I was planning till 10. So no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. but my goal is to split it into two. The first part is to focus on ourselves. me, our individual self. Because we have to be at a good place in order for us to now provide somebody else and help them be at a good place. So the first goal is for us to get excited, us to get motivated. And then the second half is we're going to acknowledge the fact that all of you have children in this school. All of you have children. And sometimes you're like, well, I'm ready. I'm excited for Ramadan. That's not the challenge. The challenge is getting the kids to get in the mode or to get excited for Ramadan. So my goal is to second half to go over a few strategies that hopefully could, from literally daycare, from if you have a 2-year-old, all the way to if you have, older kids, what can we do with them to help them develop that routine in Ramadan? Because even if they're over the moon excited, which, don't expect like a teenager, when is Ramadan coming? When is Ramadan coming, right? That's not how typically they are. But even if that's not their mood, that doesn't mean they get to just lose or waste this month. We still have to instill habits in them that make sure that they're taking advantage of that. So that's 2-part goal, fill ourselves up, and then we're going to focus on the kids. So sounds like a plan? And I'm going to try my best to stop by 9:30, 9:15 or 9:30. What's my cutoff? Okay, okay, 9:15. So I will try my best to finish by 9:15. And that time is correct. It's not 10 minutes ahead. No, I'm just fucking with them. All right, Bismillah. So I'm going to mention something that I think many of us are familiar with, okay? Oh, so sorry, before I start. If you did not RSVP on that link, that's the only way you're going to be entered into the raffle to get these prizes. So I think that was sent in the email yesterday. If you want to put in the last opportunity, and then we'll probably do these at the end. All right, Bismillah. So all of us are familiar with an event here, very well known in America, called Black Friday, right? Black Friday is a day here after the day where we're supposed to be extremely thankful, right? That's what they tell you. You're supposed to be really, really thankful for your blessings. It's a day where it's known to have a lot of good deals. Something that's worth $10,000 could be like up to 70% off. Something that you've been, tracking all year long, all of a sudden has a price that you feel like this is unbeatable. And because of the value that this nation places on these items that we so badly want, and they're at a price that's unbeatable. They're at a price that I will never find a price like this any time of the year, unless the store is closing. This is a once in a lifetime, once in a year opportunity to get this item, okay, at such a good deal. And what do these people do? All right, they will camp outside, sleep in the bushes in front of Best Buy. They will knock people over. They will run people over. We've seen fights in the morning of Black Friday. People are willing to sacrifice anything, their sleep, their comfort, their common sense, right? All to get something that they view as such an unbeatable deal. Because the 17-inch screen for only $500, this is unbeatable. I'm crazy to not take advantage of this. And in that process, they are willing to sacrifice common sense, basic decency, basic comforts, because of how much they value that item. Make sense? So in America, this culture of sacrificing something for something that I want is not foreign. It's not foreign at all, right? It just depends what you're sacrificing for. That's what makes it acceptable, and that's what makes it not acceptable. But that concept isn't foreign. We do it all the time. So I want to start off with that. Ramadan is an opportunity unlike any other opportunity. You're getting a deal. You're getting opportunity to get closer to Allah. You're getting opportunity for forgiveness of your sins, entrance into Jannah. Shaitan's locked up for a month. This is a deal that we don't get any other time of the year. This is the only time of the year where we have such open pathway. There's Jannah. Usually, 11 months out of the year, there's things in your way trying to block you. But in Ramadan, everything moves out of the way. You just have to go for it. That's how much of an opportunity Ramadan is. Now, is there a little bit of sacrifice? Yes, right? In the process, in Ramadan, we obviously have to fast. And when we fast, we abstain from eating and drinking for, from Fajr to Maghrib, okay? Now, who is that very difficult for? Fasting is very difficult for, let me rephrase it. Staying away from food and drink is very difficult for parents, everybody, sick people. You're think very elementary level. Staying away from food and drink is very difficult for people who love food and drink, right? So people who love to eat and to drink, Ramadan, it could potentially be very difficult for them. And so this idea of abstaining from something that's pretty basic for us, right? That is a true show of strength. That is a true show of strength for us and a true show of discipline. And Allah teaches us, all of our kids, all of us have different things that we struggle with. We have different obsessions. We have different things that we like. And it differs for everybody, right? So what I might struggle with might be very different with what Whitney struggles with, or what Sister Nana struggles with. Everyone has different struggles. But when you abstain from food and drink, all right, for almost majority of the day, you're abstaining something from that is a necessity in life. And so it makes us think that, wow, if I can stay away from what I must actually have, then what kind of discipline can I show in other things? What discipline can I show in the extra things that I do? I'm always saying, no, I cannot give up coffee. I cannot give up coffee. Coffee is my lifeline. In Ramadan, you give up coffee, right? You're able to. I cannot give up I cannot do that. In Ramadan, we get these superpowers that come when we sacrifice for the sake of Allah. Because people sacrifice all the time. People sacrifice all the time, but it's not always for the sake of Allah. It says maybe it's for something better, something bigger. It's that TV. So people will sacrifice. We have a whole generation of men, mashallah, tabarakallah, who sacrifice sleep and work to game, right? So people will sacrifice, but it's who are you sacrificing for? And what are you sacrificing for? And when we sacrifice for Allah, that's when the barakah comes. That's when the blessing comes. Okay, because someone might say, and this, we've all heard this before, you're not going to let your child eat or drink for 12 hours? Torture. Now, how, and this is serious. This is a serious conversation. And even Muslims nowadays, some of them will say, how can I allow my 7-year-old child to not eat or drink? That is close to abuse. And they will argue that no, fasting shouldn't be something that they start till 12, 11, or to 12, 13, 14. But subhanAllah, giving our children unlimited access to filth and social media, that's not torturing them. That's not torture. Giving them access to that will destroy their iman, that will make them believe in things other than Allah. That's not torture. That's freedom. But to sacrifice for the one who created you, that's torture. And so we have to be very mindful of who are we doing it for. And that takes me to my next point. So my first point was we already sacrificed. In this country, we have many examples of people sacrificing comfort, but when it comes to a TV, it's okay. But when it comes to God, that's when it's questionable. How can we do something? So that's the first point, is that we already do that. The second thing is, in order to prepare for ourselves for Ramadan and to get that motivation, we have to remember a very, very, very important point that we all know, we all believe in, but sometimes we forget. We sometimes forget this very important point, that as Muslims, our stay on this earth is temporary. Our stay on this earth is temporary. Our visitation to this workshop is temporary. Is anybody going to stay in the assembly room all day? Is anyone going to sleep here tonight? No? Anyone planning to sleep here tonight? No. No one's planning to sleep here. We're here for an hour. We do what we need to do, and then everybody goes on with their day, right or wrong, right? You enjoy what's here. You get your coffee. You maybe get a snack. I noticed they switched it up today. Thank you so much, Sister Suraya. Just joking. You say hi to a few people. You say salam. But then when the time is up, everybody goes home, okay? Now, when Brother Mamdouh ends, when he ends the tarbiyah session, do you have any parents that go, but I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave, right? Do we have parents who hold on to the table and say, no, I want more coffee? Does anybody do that? Anyone do that, Brother Mamdouh? No,
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, because we have other issues if that did happen, okay? Do we have parents who are just like, no, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. It's too soon. It's too soon. Nobody does that, because we understand that it had a beginning and it had an end. So we get up and we willingly leave and we go on with our day. We go on with the rest of what we have to do. Our stay on this earth is the same thing. It's the same thing. It has a beginning and it has an end, and it's short. It's very short. But what's the difference between the Tarbiyah session and our life on this earth when it comes to the end time?
We know.
Thank you. Yeah, very good. If that'd be a session, he just told me 9:15. 9:15. So we all know that 9:15 it's over. But when it comes to our stay on earth, we don't know. We don't know. But is it a surprise to us that we don't know? Or were we told that from the beginning?
Oh.
We were told that from the beginning that we don't know when we're going to go, but you are going to go. So that's as if to say, okay, you guys, we're going to have the tarbiyah. We're not sure when it's going to go, but eventually I'll let you guys know when. That's our stay on earth. We all know we're going to go, just don't know when. But even with that information, how is the reaction of people when it is time to go? Isn't it very similar? Like, they don't want to leave. I don't want to go, but my this and my that and my that. We react so outrageously, right? Not to say that we shouldn't be sad or anything like that, but our reaction is so extreme. You would think that, but didn't you know? Didn't you know that there was another home that we were working for? And so the reason I'm bringing this up now is because we have to always remind ourselves every month of the year that this is temporary and this is temporary, but it's our work here that's going to determine the quality of the house that we get there in Jannah. It's how much we work for Allah here that's going to determine the size of our abode, of our estate in Jannah. And so because we know we're going to a better place, and that place is going to last forever. But a lot of us forget that. And we make this life the end game. You know, we maximum enjoyment in this life. And this is why our culture promotes live your life, have your fun here. Because it's as if that you only live once. So if you don't have it here, we're not going to have it there. And so when it does come to something like Ramadan and you're telling kids to abstain from things that they love, no, you're going to cut down on your video games. You're going to cut down on your device time. You're going to cut down on this. To them, it's like you're taking away the end goal for them. So we have to remember and restructure the culture in our home. We're not working for this life. We're enjoying it, but not to the extent where we forget where we're going. Not to the extent where we forget where we're going. And Ramadan is the time to truly blossom and truly grow, truly get closest to Allah. It's so much, we won't be able to do at any time of the year. And so we need to make sure that we're entering this month like it is Black Friday, but for Jannah. We're getting crazy. You pray 2 rak'ahs as if you prayed the whole night. We are entering a month where there are crazy deals. We just have to take advantage of them. And so I hope all of us are now getting like, this is a very special month. This is a month unlike any other. And I would like to segue a little into a few, again, a hadith that we know about Ramadan, but it serves as a beautiful reminder, is that the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever fasts during Ramadan with faith, seeking his reward from Allah, will have his past sins forgiven. And whoever spends the night of power, Laylatul Qadr, in prayer with faith, seeking his reward from Allah, will have all his past sins forgiven. All past. I mean, I want you to think of somebody who has insane amount of debt. And we're talking $100,000, $200,000. And then the person they owe just comes up to them and says, listen, if you could just spend a night in prayer, just stay up and pray all night. You wake up tomorrow morning, your debt's gone. Would anyone question whether that's a good deal or not? They jump on it, right? But the deal that we're getting from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so much greater. But there's still some of us who go, but I'm tired, but I have work in the morning. We make these excuses and the one thing that should indicate is maybe we don't believe in the reward as much. We see that TV when we're buying it on a good deal, but we don't see that reward. We don't see that house being built in Jannah. We have to convince ourselves that it is there and it's greater than what we could imagine. And so we don't want to lose any opportunity to get closer to Allah. So what are some things that we should do to get closer to Allah in this month of ibadah? So obviously we all know fasting is the fard. I think that's the easy part, fasting. And for your kids, all of you who are in lower elementary, we had fasting club yesterday, and I'm so proud of those kiddos. They fasted till 11:45, and they're capable. They are capable. If there's one thing I can tell you, they are capable. Just have a treat ready for them, at the end to motivate them. But they are capable. And if you have younger ones, I would just recommend, again, we had 5 pre-K kids, or 6 4-year-olds join fasting club. My point in saying that is they are able to, but you just have to make it fun. You can't say you have to fast, but they're not seeing like kind of something in it for them. Because remember, they're still young. But for younger kids, just give them like, let them do half a day or let them take a break, but try to motivate them to fast. But we're going to get to kids in a little one. I want to start with us adults. Okay. So as we go in to the month of Ramadan, we have to think of it. Okay, this is my time to build my relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we build a relationship with someone, we want to make sure that we are doing things that are pleasing to him or her, correct? So when we enter the month of Ramadan, we want to go overboard and doing the deeds that bring us closer to Allah, that we know Allah loves. Deeds that Allah loves, and good deeds are so many, and everyone might have a preference for the good deed that they like, but we're going to review some of the lahmed, like the meat, like there's rice and there's salad, but we're all there for the meat. If people don't eat meat here, I apologize for the example, but okay. But we're going in for the, like, these are the deeds that these are the big ones, like the big ones that we need to focus on. Okay. The first one, and I'm gonna, because again, I only have until 9:15. I'm just
We
kidding.
can extend this.
I'm gonna just kind of skim through these because this is a topic that could go on for a longer period of time, but I'm gonna try to give like a synopsis. So of course, one of the first things that we want to focus on is our salah, because fasting is a pillar of Islam and salah is a pillar of Islam. So we need to make sure that our fara'id are in order first. So that means, again, in our home, and we talked about this in the last Tabiyah session that I did, is making sure that salah is a non-negotiable. Okay, let's admit sometimes during the year, we're not perfect with our salah. Maybe you're like, I know I'm not as consistent with my kids. Sometimes I'll let them stay in the room and, you and your husband might pray alone downstairs and you'll say, oh, the kids are busy. Okay, that happened. That's the past. In Ramadan, salah is a non-negotiable. Like that has to, and alhamdulillah, Maghrib, this is the only time of the year where the kids are asking you when Maghrib is, right? Because they're hungry. So you don't have to, that problem is solved. Maghrib, alhamdulillah, inshallah, it's solved, right? But we need to make sure that Isha and Fajr too, because except some kids would rather skip Fajr. They'll be like, oh, I don't want Suhoor because I want to be able to sleep. But Fajr, Maghrib, and then of course, we're going to be off for a good portion of Ramadan, about half of it. So we want to make sure that salah is a non-negotiable, non-negotiable. And this seems like common sense, but whatever it is that's distracting your child from praying should be taken away when they don't pray. That should be a basic consequence. If you are not able to come join us for prayer because you are so consumed with A, B, and C, well, A, B, and C is taken away. But we have to really emphasize that that importance of salah being done on time. So salah is one, okay? Another one that is extremely important is dua, okay? And dua is the essence of worship, right? Dua, and we have to make sure that we are making time for dua. Now, there are different kinds of dua. There are dua that we learn, right, from the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like the morning azkar, the evening azkar, what we say when we enter the bathroom, what we say when we exit the bathroom, for example. And these are dua that we should work towards memorizing and making sure that our kids know. There are also dua that are in the Quran, right? Quran, the beautiful dua that prophets, Prophet Yunus, La ilaha illa anta, subhanaka inni kuntu min al-zalimin. There's so many ad'iyah from the Quran that are beautiful, and we should learn them and we should make them a habit. There's also dua that we just simply make to Allah from our heart to Allah, right? What is it that you need? What is it that you desire? And from people that I interact with, I notice that's one of the most underused weapons. This weapon to be able to talk to Allah, tell him what you need, what you want, what you're desperate for, what would you like. A lot of people don't utilize that. They just kind of stick to the automatic, and then if someone taps them on the shoulder, and then they have to go back to their dua, they go, which one did I stop at? Let me just start all over from the beginning, right? And they start their dua from the beginning because we're so not into it. We're just doing it so automatically. So what I always like to recommend to people is make a dua list and start with yourself. And your dua list is a combination. It's a combination of things for, the akhirah. You want it to enter Jannah. You want to be protected from the hellfire. But don't forget, you ask for dunya things too. If you're trying to, purchase a home, if you're trying to, decide between moving to this, between this city and this city, or if you're trying to make a big decision, these are things that we should go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And just like you would talk to a friend and say, I have this really hard decision. I don't know what to do. And, you open your heart. Do the same thing with Allah. Do that same process with Allah. When you're alone, find some alone time and talk to Allah. Call upon him through his names and ask him for what you need. And this is something that all of you need to do. This is a homework assignment. For dua, I always recommend getting a notebook. Okay? Get a notebook and just ask yourself, in 1 year from now, right? So next Ramadan, where do I personally hope to be financially? What are my financial goals as a family? What are my personal goals? Are there any personal achievements that I hope to have in a year? What are some of my spiritual goals? Ask yourself, what are these goals? And then you start making dua for them. Start making dua for them every single day in Ramadan. And this is the part that all of you need to do, is you're going to get that notebook, and on the top of the one of the pages, each page you're going to write the name of your child. So Sir Hajar, who are your kids are. So you're going to have 4 pages, one for Awad, one for Masa, one for Dana, one for Tala. And then you're going to go through, you're going to start with Awad, and you're going to think of all the things that you want for Awad to accomplish within. I want him to memorize 3 ajza. I want him to do better in math. I need him to improve his reading. Whatever it is, you make a list. Then you go to the next child and you make a list. We all seek help, and we all want the best for our children, right? But are we going to Allah with our needs for our children? Because that's the one who ultimately is going to help. So Sister Dima, how many kids do you have? So you're going to have 3 pages. What's their name? Make sure you go through each and every one of them. Amani, 4. You're going to write each one of their names on the top. You're going to do it. Sister Lori, 3 pages. You're going to go through each one. Yasmin, 5. MashaAllah. May Allah bless all of your children. Increase. Let me pick on some people in the back. Sister Shaista, 2. Sister Sayla, 5. Sister Yasmin, 3. So all are going to write them down. You're going to write their names, and each one, you're going to give them their individual attention. So it's child number 1. What is it? And do all our children have the same needs? Absolutely not. So would it be like, of course you can combine them in all one dua, but remember, we want to maximize. We don't want to just we want to get the best. And this is the month where dua is accepted. And Laylatul Qadr is the most powerful night where dua is accepted, to the extent that we spend the whole last 10 nights because we don't want to miss that night, because we don't know what it is. So you go through each child. What are they struggling with? What are they strong in? They need better friends. Please, help her have healthier habits. Help make her good choices. Please help her be nice to her sibling. Please let him listen to his parents more. Please let him be more obedient. Please let him love Allah more. So you need to really evaluate, what does each child need, and you need to turn that into a dua. Because the truth is, if you're not making dua for it, you don't really want it. You don't really want it. If you have a need in your life and you're not going to Allah with it, something's not right. Something's not right. It's either the need isn't really there, or our belief in Allah isn't really there. So we have to make sure that we're making the dua. And the last thing that I'm going to do for this segment is Quran. Okay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala introduced Ramadan as the month of the Quran. So he chose that to be the introduction that he gives us about Ramadan. And I just want to reiterate, this is a super express get ready for Ramadan session. Okay, but I'm trying to get a lot in a little bit of time, inshallah. But number 1, I want you all to think right now, where is your Quran at home? Can you think of exactly where it's located, or you have to kind of maybe go look for it? And when you were to go get your Quran, is it going to be like, oh, I just used it recently, or is it going to have some dust that we need to wipe off of it? Again, whatever it was, doesn't matter. We have a fresh opportunity. We have a fresh opportunity. No matter what your past was, it doesn't matter. You have a choice now to make a change. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure we find our own personal Quran, all right? Because this is going to be our best friend. Now, my recommendation is one of my favorite Quran. I like the one that has Arabic and English on the side, because I'm an English, English is my first language. So when I read, I like to be able to go, oh, wait, what did that ayah mean? And I like to read it as well. So it would be wise for those of you who have a first language that is not Arabic, to get the translation in that language, so you are able to reference and understand what it is you are reading. Because the one thing that we do is we turn the Quran into an exercise where it's just about trying to zoom through it. Now, the beauty of the Quran is there's reward in everything. You open it, you look at it, you read, you struggle to read. Allah is always giving us reward when it comes to the Quran. That's such a mercy from him. But we need to take an effort to be more, to really try to develop a deeper relationship, to understand the Quran a little bit more. So that starts off with making sure that we have, make sure you have a Quran. And ladies and gentlemen, our kids should have a Quran. Some families, each child has their own device, because God forbid they have to share. No, we don't do that in this family, right? Everyone has their own device. Do they have their own Quran? Is that coveted? Is that special enough that I say, no, you're not sharing. I want each of you to have your own. That's something to think about. Every child should have their own, and even if they're young, let them have like, this is your Quran. And I know they have like, if you look online, actually, I'm going to get to this in just a little bit. But make sure everyone in the house has the Quran and they start giving value to the Quran. I want to give it like a silly example, but let's say you have like, I don't know if China's still a thing, like when people used to use China, like the dishes and stuff. But I remember like some people, they used to have China, like it was the untouchable plates, right? We don't touch those plates. We don't use those plates, right? We dust them. Someone always had a chore to dust the China. And I remember kids, why do we have these if we never use them, right? And then maybe if somebody was, visiting, maybe we would use it, right? But it's so delicate. But my point in that is some kids, from the way parents honor something, that's how they develop their value for it. So a kid could care less about the China, but because of how his mom and his dad interact with the China and treat the China, right? They go, that China is important. I can't get into it. And their friend is over, hey, what's that? Don't touch it, right? My mom will kill you, right? So they know, they understand the value, not because they at that time maybe agree with the value of it, not because they at that time might, think that it's, but because their parents instilled this idea based on how they treat the China, that China is important. And we don't mess with the China. And maybe one day they'll grow up, and whether they love it or not, that's up to them. But their parents instilled a value just by how they treat it. Same thing with Quran, same thing with Salah. When they see that their parents, are holding that Quran, have a copy in every room, bring the family together for the Quran, then they go, even if they don't feel it at the time, even if they don't feel it, but they go, this is an important book. It's important. I don't necessarily see it's important. I'm not crying. I'm not crying like all these people in Saudi, but I'm in a household, I'm in a school where its value is felt. And inshallah, one day they will feel it. But we have to do our part. Same with Salah. We know that my parents, they're lenient with everything, but when it comes to Salah time, they don't play. So they grow up, even if they themselves don't feel it, but we're building in them like this inner sense, this inner compass that makes them feel like this is important. So we have a huge responsibility. Do our kids ever see us holding the Quran? They see us doing a lot of things. They see us watching the evening news. They see us spending time in the kitchen. Do they ever see us spending time with the Quran? If the answer is no, can I just kindly ask, what are we expecting to hit them in the face in the future that makes them go, well, that book is really important? If no, it was never something that was made important in the home. Like, are they going to just magically wake up one day, put down their, I'm keep hating on gamers, right? And put down the remote control after 13 hours and say, you know what? I think I need to go read some Quran. It's unlikely. Okay, that's why we have a responsibility of instilling those habits, whether they like it or not, whether they want to or not. There's some things that they do. Do our kids like to do homework? No, but what do? They know they have to do it. They know they have to do it. Okay. Same thing when it comes to ibadah. Like they have to understand this is a must. This is a must in your life, but it's not a choice, right? Yes, we want them to develop that love, but there has to be balance. And this is why when we are encouraging them to pray and we are encouraging them to do these ibadat, I believe that's what you tie the incentive to. So we don't want to approach those things like kind of like hardcore, no, you better pray. And if you don't pray, like we don't want to be very negative in our implementation of this. Just be very straightforward and make sure anything that you were already going to give them, right? Any incentive that they have, or if your child wants device time, then they earn their device time by doing something. So it has to be tied to something so that hopefully they develop that connection with it. So all of us, inshallah, let's make it a goal to develop a deeper relationship with the Quran. Make sure to have one in English. And I'll actually tell a personal story. When I was younger, like maybe in high school, I was that person who like every Ramadan was like, how many times can I finish the Quran? How many times can I finish the Quran? And I was always competing with like my brothers or one of my friends. Like we'd always, and I'd be like reading. I'd have like the small ones. Everywhere I go, I'm like reading, finished. And I would be so excited if I finished it, right? Before somebody. And then one year, someone, I don't know what got me to like, I guess I got like this English translation and I was like, okay, I'm going to read it in Arabic and then I'm going to read the translation in English. And it slowed me down for sure, but it was such a different experience. I remember for the first time, there were parts where I would get a little emotional I was like, I've been reading this book for years. I don't remember getting emotional, right? I read the surah before. I don't remember getting this. But when you start reading in the English, you start noticing, and again, English, if that's, I'm assuming most of us here are first language, you start noticing things. So I'll be reading something in English. I'm like, wait a minute, he just said that on the previous page. What's the connection? What's the pattern, right? And then you'll notice that there's a theme that keeps repeating. These are all things that I didn't necessarily pick up on when I was just zooming it through in Arabic. So what my point is by slowing down and reading the English and try to, the connection with the Quran was so different, so different. So I highly recommend all of us try to develop that. Just get an English translation or get a book. My recommended one that has both. I like that this one has both. It has the Arabic and has the English. And this one actually is really cool. It has, you know, it has like a word for word as well. I think this one is $40, but it does on Amazon. I think you could find it, but it doesn't have to be super fancy. Just I do recommend having English and Arabic. Now, some resources that I have today, the gifts that I have, don't know Amazon gift card this time, guys. Okay, but I have something even better than Amazon gift cards. There's a series that I came across a few years ago, and I loved it. It's by Ezdehar Institute, and they basically have Juz Amma, and they just they do have Juz Tabaraka as well. So the last Juz of the Quran and the 29th and the 30th Juz of the Quran, and they basically take the surah and they present it in like a kid-friendly way. And I think it's a great resource. So they literally have all of the Amma. So like one example, Surah An-Nas, a surah that all of us know. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Qul a'udhu bi Rabbin Nas, Malikin Nas, Ilahin Nas, to the end. And then it has like little pictures, and it tries to make it like easy to understand. So if you have younger kids, this might be a perfect segue into, all right, let's pick a surah that you know, let's learn it, let's read about it. And that might motivate them to want to develop that closer relationship with the surah. So I highly recommend these, and I have quite a few today that I'm going to give away to you guys as a as a gift. And then just like they have Surah Nuh. This is actually one of my favorite. When I read this, Surah Nuh became one of my favorite surahs because I felt like it really helped me understand it. So these are really gems, but this is an alternative. Okay. So now I'm going to segue to the second one, the second part. We're going to talk about the kids a little bit. Okay. So you guys are like, I'm excited for Ramadan. It's a deal unlike any other. I'm going to start new habits. I'm going to make sure that we pray Salah. Want everyone to have, you know, Quran, want Quran to be a priority in the house. Okay, but how? Now it comes to the kids. I'm motivated. I'm excited, but how do I do things with my kids? So a recommendation is, as difficult as it may seem, there needs to be, if we could have some sort of family time where the family comes together, even if it's for just 10 minutes. This really doesn't have to be anything over. I think we can give 10 minutes to where we're going to do Quran time, ibadah time, anything it is, but do something together as a family. If you would like to get a book, you know, there's some certain books where they have like 30 chapters and you can read a chapter. There's so much you can do, but I'm going to give some suggestions for things that you could do with kids. Okay. Again, with the emphasis being on Quran, because we want our kids to develop a relationship with the Quran. So give me one. Just pull it up real quick. So I know we have a few pre-K and like pre-K and daycare, you know, parents, for example, here, you might think, oh no, this is, you know, that what could we do with a pre-K student or a kindergarten student, right? Even though kindergarten, mashallah, they should probably be able to. So here's one simple idea I got. Most of our kids, and at least here at UAF, all of them, they start off with Surah Al-Fatiha. So everyone, you can guarantee that Surah Al-Fatiha. Now, are you going to be able to get a daycare student or a toddler or a pre-K kid to come and open up Quran and be able to read Surah Al-Fatiha? Most likely not. They're probably not at that level yet. Okay. But what is something that's more appropriate, right? Take a surah that they know. Okay. And here, I'll give it an example, right? So I have here, obviously, the word Allah in Arabic, but again, you can do English as well. It doesn't have to be, you know, whatever works for you. And even if you were to get that student, take words from a surah. So Rabbil Alameen, or I also have I think I had the Rabb. Where did it go?
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yes. In there.
I don't see it. Do you see it up?
Yeah, it's in there in red.
I literally am not. Where? Oh, okay. I'm like, you're seeing it. I know. So Rabb, right? Rabbil Alameen, for example. Okay. You can make a few cards and maybe I say, okay, Rabb. I'm going to use Tala as an example. Tala, which one looks like this? Which one of these cards look like this? Which one says Rabb? And then maybe you can have two, again, depending on their age. If she's really young, just have two, right? Which one is Rabb? Which one is Rabb? And then maybe they'll go, yay, Rabbil Alameen, Rabbil Alameen, Allah, Allah. Do the same thing. Get what I'm saying? So it doesn't have to be something so extravagant. Start with matching. Find the one that looks the same. All I did, I opened the Quran, the surah that I feel like they know. Again, start with the surah that they know. Fatiha is your best bet. Pick 2 or 3 words, write them on index cards, and keep using. That's a good thing with little kids. You do the same thing every day. The next day, do it again, and you're gonna say, Allah, Allah. Which one is Allah? Which one is Allah? Right? And then they'll come, Allah. And if you do this every day, in a few weeks, you're gonna notice that they're gonna start, Rab, Allah, Rab. They're gonna start doing that. They're gonna start identifying it. There you have your child interacting with the Quran. So that's one example, okay? Another example, I'm gonna move up a little bit, is obviously reviewing any surahs that your child already knows. So what I would do, if like, for example, I would, child number 1, I know that they know Surah Al-Asr, Surah Al-Ikhlas, Surah Al-Nas, for example, and maybe every day have them go through those same surahs and review it. So for 5-10 minutes, you're gonna put a timer. If this is their first time doing it, put a 5-minute timer and say, you're gonna just sit here quietly and you're gonna review the surahs that you already know, okay? Now we're gonna do an activity real quick. Do I have a few more minutes?
Oh, yeah.
Is that okay? I wanna do this with you guys because I know sometimes it's, I want you all to experience it. I picked a surah from Juz' Amma. And the reason I picked Juz' Amma is because, why do I pick Juz' Amma?
Familiar.
Most people know. The kids that are students, the surahs that our kids know mostly are from Juz' Amma. So I'm going to play a surah, okay? Actually, I'm going to do this. Let me turn this on. Bismillah. Power on. Okay, I'm gonna experience this 2 times. So we're going to, this is a X10 or what's this? I think it's X10. Okay, Bismillah. So we're going to just listen, okay? We're just listening. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Surah Quraysh.
إيلافهم رحلة الشتاء فليعبدوا رب هذا البيت الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف.
Okay, so we all listen to a surah. Could we just have time where we all sit and we're going to just listen to Quran? Can we do that? Yes, it's a practice of sitting, learning not to do anything, learning to listen. Sometimes our kids are constantly just need to sit and listen. But again, if you have younger kids, I see a lot of you have younger kids, you can add a level of engagement to it, okay? So I'm going to make you guys do this with me. So I'm just going through the translation. إِلَى فِي قُرَيْشٍ إِلَى فِيهِمْ رِحْلَةَ الشِّتَاءِ وَالصَّيْفِ. Shita is winter, Saif is summer, okay? So you could do this with pictures or you could just do the act. So we're actually gonna do this. Shita is winter, so we're not all gonna act like we're cold, okay? Everybody act like you're cold. All of us are doing it. You're not just, okay, there we go. We're acting like we're cold, very good, beautiful, okay? And then Saif is summer. We're gonna act like we're hot, okay? Very good, all right, we're hot. All right? And for some of you, you don't have to act, it's, okay? All right, okay, so, right? So that's Shita, Saif. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. Bait is a house, right? Okay, so house. Do it with me. I'm drawing a house. Okay, show me Shita. Show me Saif. Okay, bait. Okay, let's do one more. All right. الذي أطعمهم من جوع. Oh, this is a word our kids use all the time. I'm so hungry. I'm starving. Right now we can make a connection. Oh, like in Surah Quraysh. Right. Okay. So we're gonna do here though the form is ju'an. Right. Ju'an. We're gonna put our hand on our stomach like I'm hungry. Okay. الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف. Okay. We're gonna play the surah again, but this time you're gonna do it with the actions when you hear that word. Okay. Are you ready? Let's review it one more time. Shita, Saif, Bait, Ju'. Okay, here we go. Bismillah, I'm gonna record who is a, no, I'm not recording. Jessica. Let me start it from the beginning. Bismillah, all right? I'm watching.
إيلافهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف فليعبدوا رب هذا البيت
ما شاء الله.
الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم.
Oh, right? MashaAllah. Look at that. The lesson took less than a minute and you guys were able to do it. What was different though? Let's reflect a little. When I played the surah the first time, what was different when I played it this time? We are focusing. You're waiting. Where's the word? Where's the word, right? I'm listening to it. Do we have that level of focus sometimes when we just listen? Sometimes yes, but sometimes no, right? So imagine if you took a kid. And again, did any of us study Surah Quraysh before we came here? Did any of you were all of you able to just get with it? It didn't take much, right? We just went over what some of the vocabulary was, and now you sit the kids down, and all of a sudden they're engaged in the surah, right? And oh, you just, mashallah, when you're done, you just earned a treat. You just earned a whatever. So now they have a positive association with the Quran because they're getting something for it, and it was something that was fun for them, okay? And I just picked any surah. I just happened to pick Surah Quraysh because it's short, and I purposely wanted to the one that we might know, we might not know. Of course, it's talking about the people of Quraysh who Allah made easy for them the caravans in the winter and the summertime. So isn't this a beautiful segue to now? Well, let's learn more about Surah Quraysh. Do you see that? So something so simple. One last thing, I promise this is the last thing, and then I'll wrap up. So again, recap, basic words, all right? Words that I know, words from a surah that they know. Listen to Quran, sit and just listen to it, okay? Another one can be find vocabulary words, do a little action. We could have even done a picture, and then when you listen to the surah, and I would put that surah on repeat and repeat and repeat. And what might even start happening, especially to little kids, they're hearing the surah over and over again. They keep looking for that word. What is going to happen after the 10th time they hear it? Memorized. Without you having to say, come sit, repeat after me, say it over and over again, they're going to memorize it. And they're going to love it in the process. So again, it's just being a little creative. Last thing, I'm going to challenge all of you because I hope you have a Quran app on your phone. Okay, if you have a Quran app on your phone, open it, please. Okay. I want you to go to the glossary that lists all the surahs, like in order. So from Surah Al-Fatiha all the way till the end. Okay, everyone have it open? By the way, any of you who have allowed your children to have a device or a phone, one of the first things that should be required that they download should be a Quran app and an Adhan app. Those two should be non-negotiable. If they want a device or something, that needs to be on there. Okay, everyone has it open? Thumb up. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a quick challenge, and I'll give you like a minute. Part of getting the Quran, shouldn't we know the surahs that are in the Quran? Okay, so we're going to go from Surah 1 to Surah 5. We're not going to do many, 1 to 5. Okay, so Surah 1 is Surah number 2,
Al-Baqarah,
3, Ali Imran, 4, 5, Ma'idah. Okay, Ma'idah is a table. Nisa, women. Ali Imran, the family of Imran. Baqarah, cow. And Fatiha, the opening. Okay, so let's do it. We're going to say it together 3 times, up to 5. Surah Al-Fatiha, Baqarah, Ali Imran, Nisa, Ma'idah. Again, Fatiha, Baqarah, Ali Imran, Nisa, Ma'idah. All right, one more time. Fatiha, Baqarah, Ali Imran, Nisa, Ma'idah. I'm now going to give you 30 seconds, or I'll be 45 seconds. You're going to try to memorize that. You're going to memorize the first 5 surahs of the Quran. Go.
just the name.
Just the name. All right, about 20 more seconds. All right. I hope you were able to memorize it. Do we have any volunteers who would be brave enough to try and say them? Go, Sister Iman in the back. Takbir.
Allahu
Good job.
Akbar.
Another volunteer. Anyone? Go ahead, Sir Shadul. MashaAllah, takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
Anyone else? A little bit, two more brave souls. Yes, Sister Imani. And then your next brother. Too. Beautiful. Takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
How long did that take? Was there any force involved?
No.
Was there any yelling involved? Okay, was it kind of fun? It was like a challenge. It was like a game. Oh, by the way, again, you get to retrieve from the goodies. So you just earned your thing. How easy was that? And how many surahs are in the Quran? So could I do that every day? They come from home from school, finish your, memorize the next 5 surahs, memorize it. And then when they get to 20, all right, now your challenge is to know from surah 1 all the way to surah 20. It's a game for them. Does it involve any yelling? Does it involve sit down? Does it involve, I don't know Arabic? No. So there are many ways to interact with the Quran. And that's something I hope that we all leave here with, is that a relationship with the Quran is not limited to knowing how to read it. That's not our limit, because that's a lot of people that don't know how to read it. And Allah is not going to limit access to his book, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are so many ways we can make it fun. We can make it engaging. All right, we can make it a challenge. Was anyone here unable to do, was the challenge of memorizing the first 5 difficult or beyond anyone here's capability? No. But if I said, all right, everyone open up surah number, randomly open to page 345 in the Quran and read, would that be challenging for some? Yes. So let's not only do the challenging stuff when it comes to the Quran. Let's find things that are so easy that anybody can do that will eventually lead them to go, oh, okay, well, I kind of like this book, In Ramadan, I was always like winning games with this book. My mom was always reading it. We were doing all these activities. That's what can build their love to eventually develop it. But if the only relationship they have with the Quran is memorize it, and for a kid who struggles, that means every time I open this book, I'm struggling. And if that's the only experience they have with the Quran, would you blame them for, I don't really want to spend time on the Quran? No, because the only opportunity we gave them with it was read, but I can't read it. Still, you have to read it. Okay, repeat it 7. That's not how we should limit our relationship with the Quran. Yes, that is an ultimate goal, to be able to read the Quran. But it doesn't mean that until you get there, it's a dreadful experience. So I'm going to start with that, inshallah. I really hope that we leave here. You have about a week, almost 2 weeks, right? To go, okay, you know your kids. I'm trying to give ideas for ranges, okay? But you know your age. You know if you have a teenager, what the teenager needs. You know if you have younger ones. And you're going to say, okay, what am I going to do in preparation from now? What am I going to focus on? What time am I going to say this is this is the time we all stop, we come together, even if it's for 10 minutes. We were able to do all those activities in less than 15 minutes. Pick one and be consistent. And remember, you don't have to be, super like over the top. So for example, if you go, you know what, I'm going to do that index card activity. And then you put them together. And then you look next door and you see that your neighbor bought these index cards from Etsy and they have glitter on them and they shimmer. And you go, well, my index cards, they're just from Walmart, right? And then we get discouraged. And that's what some of us do. We look at what the neighbor is doing or what the person on social media, and everything's so perfect. And then we feel like, oh, that's so discouraging. Who cares? Who cares? It's all about the intention. You do whatever works for you. Be consistent, and inshallah, our homes will be homes where Allah is remembered. Our homes will be homes where the angels love to come. Our homes will be homes where our kids know the value of Salah and Quran, and they know that it's non-negotiable, so that in the future, when they grow up, they are able to have that same sense of importance and reverence, and they're able to take advantage of the month of Ramadan. So I'm going to give out these gifts, and then I'm going to, we'll end with dua. And I just want to, these 2 are part of the gifts. Just to kickstart any of you who maybe want to do the student name project, or who want to do any one of these, you have it ready to go to treat your kids if they get it right. So please do not eat them on your way home, okay? These are meant for Ramadan, okay? So you may have one, okay? Just one, but the rest save them for Ramadan. I also have 2 tasbih counters. These are a different kind of tasbih counter. I don't want to open it, but like you just, and it also has a compass. So you can, like, if you're, the old fashioned way of finding northeast on, and then, of course, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 surahs that you can choose from. So you can either pick a surah that your kids might already know, or have a surah that you actually don't know, and that will be like a nice challenge. So I'm going to pull up and by the way, it's Ezdehar Institute. If you buy the whole set for Juz Amma, it's like $200 on their website. If on Amazon, you can find each individual one for around $5. So just if you want to like try a few out. All right. Are we ready?
We are.
All right. Bismillah. Let me just see if anyone registered. I'm going to RSVP the last minute. I'll accept them. We're all about accepting people. Okay, Bismillah. Okay, Bismillah, Hajar. Okay, all right, and I'll show the computer. So the first winner is, Bismillah. Remember, we're happy for each other. I have Surah Al-Nas, Surah Al-Layl, Surah Al-Fajr, Surah Al-Takathur, Surah Al-Teen, Surah Al-Falaq, Surah Al-Qiyamah, and Surah Nuh are in the 2 candy jars and 2 tasbih counters. Sister Dima, Mabruk, you're the first one. So come on up. I'm going to keep going because we have quite a few to give out. Mabruk, Mabruk. Surah Al-Teen, here you go. Ooh, you have to be here to get it. And she just walked out. Oh, no, she's good. Brother Mofidul, congratulations, mashallah. So come on up and pick your prize. Surah Al-Fajr right over here. Beautiful, mashallah. You're very welcome. Next is, subhanallah, Sister Hajar. Subhanallah, she was just before this, she was talking about Hajar Hazama. How, I never win and I wanted to win this time. Subhanallah. See, Allah answers dua. So you're going to love it. I really love that one, subhanallah. Next up, oh, close one. She walked out. I feel so bad. Sister Yasmin Salham. I'm going to, should I save one for her? Because she had to go to class.
Yes.
She left because she had to go to class. So I'm going to get her Surah Al-Takathur. Next up, Sister Rinti. Oh, I don't think I saw her today. Okay. So we'll next, this thing could just go a little bit faster. Is there a way to, I'll just pick someone. Next is Hajar is the name of the game today. Hajar, come on up. No, I'm so sorry. This is nice try though. That one's mine. Sister Anan, but she had, okay. Abir, come pick something for her, please. Okay. And if you want to accidentally keep it for yourself and forget to tell her. Next up, Sister Whitney. Congratulations. How many more? How many more? Okay. These 3, the tasbih counter, the candy jars. Okay. That's true. That's a good one. Sister Hadil. Is Hadil? I saw him. No? Hadil? No, Hadil? Okay. Wish it could. Sister Shaista? You're up, Sister Shaista? Okay, we have, okay. Nope, no, these are all up for grabs. Yep, so you can have any one of those. Sister Lori and Sister Iman. Those came together. So Iman and Lori, come on up. Okay, and I think we have just, we have 2 more to go. And while we're doing that, I just want to wrap up again. Bismillah. Yes, you're welcome. Go ahead. No, you can take one. Any one of these. Ilham Abu Zaghlan. You're very welcome. Okay, I will take this one for Sister Yasmin. And the last one, so Ilham, and the last one, Sister, you're welcome. Dana Kutub, so Mabruk, you get a tasbih counter. So I hope that these are beneficial and useful. And and I'll say that for Sister. So I would like to thank you all again. I'm wrapping up. I'm so sorry. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I hope that we all leave here with a sense of excitement, but also a sense of responsibility. An excitement knowing that we are coming on a month that is unlike any other month. The opportunity for khair, the opportunity for ajr, the opportunity for closeness to Allah is wide open, but there might be a little bit of struggle, right? There might be a little struggle. It might be a little bit tired. We have to do all of this cooking and this cleaning and the feeding and dealing with angry and cranky kids. But all of it is for a beautiful ultimate purpose of coming closer to Allah. So during this month, we want to make sure that we are preparing ourselves to see everything as an opportunity to get closer to Allah. Every effort that you put in preparing suhoor, you comfort the child that doesn't want to fast. You're taking them to and from school. All of that with the right intention as ajr for the sake of Allah. So make sure that you make the intention for everything. Develop your own personal goals with dua, with salah, with Quran as a bare minimum. And then the second goal is we definitely want our children to have a sense of responsibility when it comes to their relationship with Allah. And so because they're most likely not going to do it on their own, we have to help them make those choices and help them do that. So I hope that I modeled some different creative ways that we could encourage our kids to develop that relationship that might be more exciting and more inciting for them, exciting than just the typical their typical relationship with the Quran, all of it with the ultimate goal being them having that love and reading Quran and developing that relationship with Allah, inshallah. I remember when I was younger, my parents made us do certain things. So I remember we used to always go to the masjid for Taraweeh, and all my friends would play on the playground. And I always wanted to go play on the playground. My parents would always say, you can play on the playground after you pray 8 rak'ahs. But I'm like, but a lot of my friends didn't have to pray the 8 rak'ahs, they didn't, but that was their rule. It was a non-negotiable. You have to go pray your 8. When you finish your 8, ahlan sahlan, go spend time on the playground, right? But you have to pray those 8. And yes, when I was younger, I would get mad and I would get so frustrated when I would see all of my friends didn't have parents who said, you have to pray, but I did. So I would go upstairs and I would pray and I would pray. And yes, when I was younger, if you asked me then, which one would you rather? I would have picked the playground. But my parents established a standard. You pray, then you play. Even though I kicked and screamed and didn't like it, you still have to pray. And because they established that, yes, the beginning, I didn't like doing it. And then that same girl grew up to Taraweeh Club. So like in the future, like I ended up loving it, right? In the end, I grew up loving to go, but it didn't start like that. It didn't start with me loving. I also remember my parents, Allah bless them both and give them Jannah. They had this rule, you have to read 2 pages of Quran. When you wake up, you read 2 pages of Quran. And until those 2 pages of Quran are read, no TV is turned on, nothing. Do those 2 pages. So if I were you, I'd do them early. If you don't do them early, that's your choice. But you're not going to do anything until those 2 pages are read. That was it. That was the rule. They didn't follow. That was the rule. So we'd wake up, again, did we do it like, yes, it's time to do Quran? No, right? We were kids. We didn't want to read 2 pages unless it was from Juz Amma because we knew those surahs. But no, we had to read from Baqarah and all that. But we did it. And they made us do it. And at the time we didn't want to, but then those same kids grow up because Quran was such a regular part. It was a non-negotiable. They grow up to now love the Quran, to now have a relationship with it. But had my parents said, oh, Haram, all of her friends are on the playground. Wallah, Haram, if I don't let her play on the playground, she's going to be so sad. And if they didn't have that rule and they just let me go play as a 7-year-old and then as an 8-year-old and as a 10-year-old, then when was I supposed to develop that? And then as a teenager, you think I'm going to now listen to them? Not when I was 7. So I'm just saying this as my personal experience, that sometimes we have to make our kids uncomfortable to do what they have to do. Because our goal isn't the here and now. Our goal is the akhirah. And we have to always remember that the akhirah is the ultimate goal, not your current happiness or your current pleasure. It's Allah's pleasure. So I ask Allah to make us from those who make it to Ramadan. I ask Allah to make us from those who benefit from Ramadan. Ya Rab, I ask you, Ya Rab al-Alameen, to make this our best Ramadan yet. Ya Rab, I ask you to make this the best Ramadan for each and every one of our family members. Ya Rab, I ask you to help us approach this Ramadan with a different attitude where our family is going to elevate. Our entire family is going to get closer to Allah. Our entire family is going to purify their heart. Ya Allah, purify our hearts and the hearts of our children. Ya Rab, please allow our children to develop a relationship with you, for them to love the Quran from a young age, and for us to be creative in our approach of bringing them to Islam. Ya Allah, help minimize the attachment that they have to this dunya. Ya Allah, please help minimize the attachment they have to social media. Ya Allah, please minimize the attachment that they have to that which is not good for them, and increase the love that they have for you. Ya Allah, remove from their hearts that which is not pleasing to you. Remove from their heart that which makes them forget about you, and replace it with love for you. Ya Allah, give our children and our youth the confidence to do what is right, even when they are not, none of their friends are doing it. Ya Allah, give them the confidence to wear hijab, even when their friends are not doing it. Ya Allah, please let them develop a relationship with you so strong that they don't care if they are the only one doing it. And I also ask you, Ya Rab, to bless our friends and our children and our youth with the best of friends. Ya Rab, bless them with righteous friends who are going to lead them on the straight path. And Ya Rab, please protect them from friends who are going to make them want to be like something they shouldn't be. Please protect them from friends who are going to introduce them to filth and haram that could take them down the wrong path. Ya Rab, allow us to make dua for our children every single day, for us to trust you, Ya Rab, Ya Wakil, for us to trust you so much to know that you are in control of our children. And so for us to go to you on a regular basis, asking and begging for the needs and the wants of our family. And Ya Allah, let us never forget that as much as we want our children, Ya Allah, bless our children to be the smartest, to be the best, that in all of the academic subjects, let us never lose sight that we are going to be asked, we're going to stand in front of you, and for them to have La ilaha illallah in their heart. Ya Allah, help all of us stay on the straight path. I ask you to bless the homes of each and every one of us, for our homes to be a place of peace, a place where we love to be, a place where the family expresses love for each other. Ya Allah, bless each and every one here and their spouse and their children and their family, for the home, again, to be a place where people are loving each other and checking in on each other and saying kind words to each other, and not a place where we all dread to be. Please protect us from our home being a place that where we don't want to be. Bil'aks, Ya Rab, fill it with love and care and kindness, and let us start putting you first in our homes. And just as you united us here, Ya Rabbil Alameen, on this beautiful Friday, I ask you to unite us in Jannat al-Firdaus al-A'la. Please bless us with the best Ramadan. Allahumma ballighna Ramadan. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Jazakallah khair again for coming and staying longer than I was told. But I pray we all get to see each other in Ramadan and do beneficial things, inshallah. Jazakumullahu khairan.
All righty. Jazakallah khairan, Sister Ezdehar. We appreciate you so much. Such a blessing for adults and children. For the whole Sultan family, may Allah bless you. Alhamdulillah. With that, inshallah, subhanak Allahumma bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. We'll see you, inshallah, after the break and in Ramadan, bi'idhnillah. Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillah. We needed wallah more.